Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Carlina Davis of Spilling the Sweet Tea, and baby, today we're making candy yams. And these are not candied sweet potatoes. I grew up hearing my mama always call them candy yams. So we're gonna make them the Shirley May way. It's important to wash your sweet potatoes before you peel them. These sweet potatoes literally come out the dirt. So when you are peeling your sweet potatoes, you take the top and the bottoms off. This is how she taught me. I don't use a peeler. Some people do. Candy yams was her signature dish, okay? When she would make candy yams for the holidays, folks would call the house. Your mama make candy yams? Can you save me a corner? I ain't gonna be able to make it around there. Can you save me some? People literally asking for you to put candy yams to the side for them. Gary, I'm talking about you because you were the main one ringing our phone. My cousin Gary loved my mama's candy yams. It is one of those memories on a plate that I hold near and dear. And for the holiday season, or anytime I'm making candy yam, I'm going to make them the Shirley May way. I understand people are watching their sugar, people are watching the butter they put in their food. But for me, when I'm cooking soul food, I'm cooking the food I grew up on, I don't cut corners, I just eat it in moderation. Because I want it to taste just like it tasted in my mother's kitchen. I always keep a bowl of just cold water while I'm peeling my potatoes because I don't want my sweet potatoes to brown. Let's just talk about sweet potatoes for a second. So when you're making candy yams, I personally like more slender sweet potatoes. I don't like sweet potatoes like this that had a BBL. Leave these in the store, okay? Because when you're cutting them, you don't want to have to cut them in half. I like them to be uniform. So if you get them too thick and too wide, you're going to have to cut them in half to get them to cook evenly. This is the main character of this recipe. You're going to need lots and lots. Did I say lots? Of white sugar. Brown sugar is not in this recipe. If you're in my comments and said, why don't you add brown sugar? Because my mama didn't. Okay, I'm making it the Shirley May way. She only used white sugar. I'm going to use this Beautiful by Drew Barrymore's baking dish to put my candy yams in. I love it because it has a lid. It's aesthetically pleasing. So I can bake my candy yams in here and then pop the lid on to keep it warm and then set it right on the table when I'm ready to serve. So we'll pop her right here. Get you a sharp knife. And you want to cut them into rounds about that thick, okay? You don't want to cut them too thick and you don't want to cut them too thin. You want them to cook evenly. This sweet potato is nice and tender. You need a nice sharp knife. I told you guys, if you've been following me for a while, my mother is the one who taught me how to cook. So obviously I would watch her as I was growing up, but it was probably around 2008, 2009, where I realized my mother was starting to lose her memory. I lost my mother to Alzheimer's disease. So once I realized that her memory was starting to slip, and she could no longer cook, I started cooking for Thanksgiving. Because if you know anything about Alzheimer's disease, your short-term memory starts to go. So I would notice that when I was home and I would watch her cook, she would salt something 2 or 3 times, or she would burn things. So once I realized that was happening to her, that's really how Spilling the Sweet Tea was born, because I started really paying closer attention. Like, I would pay attention when she would cook, but I started paying closer attention. How she made her biscuits, how she made candy yams, how she made oven-baked ribs. And I took mental notes of what she was doing, how she was doing it, how much sugar and things like that she was putting, especially in her candy yams. And she eyeballed it, and that's what I do now. And when I tell you the biggest compliment that I can get from my family when they're tasting my food is for them to say, "Cuz, it tastes just like Aunt Shirley made this." Because there are so many of her dishes, because I've made them so many times, I can get them spot on the Shirley May way. And these candy yams taste like she made them herself. So if you've lost a parent like me, or even an auntie or a grandma, anybody who cooked in your family and you just love to sit at their table and you love their food, I can relate to you because I am her. I am there, right? I have lost both of my parents. Both of my parents love to cook. I learned from both of them different recipes. But I want to implore to anyone who is going home for the holidays this year who still has their TT, still has their mima, their grandma, their mother, if your loved one that cooks extremely well is still with you, take the time and learn those recipes. Not only for you to be able to make them with something when something happens, because it's such, you know, with life comes death. You also need to pass them down, right? We're losing recipes. You hear all the time. And you're only losing recipes because you're not getting the recipes from your elders. So it's very important for you to take the time to get in the kitchen with your elders and learn those recipes. And it also builds memories, right? So, you know, I have beautiful memories of being in the kitchen with my mother before she got sick. So it's just very important that you pass down those recipes. So now that you have your sweet potatoes cut up, now you want to add your sugar. You're going to need lots of sugar. 2 cups plus, okay? It just depends on how much you're making. So she would just pour her sugar over her sweet potatoes like this. And my eyeballs is telling me I need more sugar. I can hear my mama say, that's not enough. That's not enough, Lena. So I'm going to add a little bit more, okay? Just because the ancestors has spoken. If you're not comfortable using this much sugar, they're not going to be as good. Sorry. It's got to be a lot of sugar. And you don't want to add any water to this because as the sugar melts, it's going to create its own juices. I only use cinnamon and nutmeg. Ain't no allspice in this. There's no ginger in my candy yams. There's no lemon juice. Cinnamon and nutmeg, the dynamic duo of Thanksgiving. Mama's candy yams are heavier on the nutmeg. So she did not use as much cinnamon, but she would add cinnamon to her candy yams. But her candy yams are so good because she went real heavy on the nutmeg. And she put vanilla extract in it. So a lot of people make their candy yams on the stove, make a sauce for them. This is how she did it. This is the Shirley Mae way. She would just add her seasonings on her sugar, just like this, in her pan. And add your nutmeg. When I tell you these candy yams come out so good. Now you want to add your vanilla extract. Not vanilla flavoring. It can't be clear. It's got to be vanilla extract. If you have vanilla bean paste, it'll even level it up. But she always just used plain vanilla extract. So that's what I'm going to use. A little bit of vanilla in each corner. And then a little bit of vanilla in the middle. That was her way. She hit the corners and then hit the middle. The last thing you need is a full stick of butter. You didn't hear me say margarine. You didn't hear me say blue bonnet. You didn't hear me say I can't believe it's not butter. You have to have real butter and you need a whole stick. Period. You just need pats of butter. And this butter's been sitting out so it's a little warm, but that's fine. So I want to cut it into little pats like this. You just want to place it on the top, just like this. Candy yams the Shirley Mae way, ready for the oven. So you want to bake these for about 40 minutes on 400 degrees, uncovered. Go to the oven. All right, y'all. Our candy yams made the Shirley Mae way are done. They are fork tender and perfect. Let's give these a taste. You know I got to see if they're spilling the sweet tea approved. But it's my mama's recipe, so I already know they are. If you want more classic Southern recipes made the Shirley Mae way, make sure to grab my cookbook, Memories on a Plate, Southern Recipes I Learned from My Mama. I will add the link to the description of this video so you can check it out. The candy yams recipe is on page 30 of my cookbook. So you can see receipts. It looks exactly like the picture. Any classics Southern Thanksgiving side, potato salad, fried turkey, squash casserole, mac and cheese, candy yams. I got you covered. Candy yams made the Shirley Mae way. Baby, they still hot. When I tell you, it tastes just like my mama had made these candy yams herself. They are so good. A 10 out of 10 and spilling the sweet tea approved.